Joining me right now to talk about Tulsa King season 2, which premieres this Sunday on Paramount Plus, is one of the stars, man. The man that everybody's talking about, Jay Will. Jay, how you doing, brother?
Hey, man, I'm blessed, man. Highly favored. Glad to be here. Glad to be in this conversation, man.
Hey, look, man, look, congratulations first off on all your success. Like I'm sure, growing up and then going to Juilliard, and then next thing you know, you're working with Sly Stallone. It's been quite the rocket ride for you. So congratulations on that, man. Have you taken time to reflect on the journey thus far, even though it's still early going?
And I haven't taken the time that I think people would expect for me to take for myself. And I haven't done my little retreats and stared at the sun and crying and thinking on my knees. I haven't done all that yet. A day-to-day piece of gratitude, of just acknowledgement works for me, and that suffices, man. But man, look again. I'm amongst some of the greatest of my time. I'm amongst American royalty: Sylvester Stallone, Camila Cabello. Chiwetel Ejiofor, Mary J. Blige. These are people that, come on, man. It's at a certain point, it's like I gotta be blessed. I gotta be thankful, man. I'm very thankful for it, and I'm honored just to be a vessel, a part of each one of these stories.
You talk about being around royalty, and I guess my question would be this. So I come from a sports background, similar to you. You got a sports background as well, working with ESPN. But on my radio show, I do it with this guy who used to be a pro wrestler. His name's Booker T. And I grew up idolizing Booker T as a kid. I'm from Houston, he's from Houston, and
Come on,
still to
where's Booker T, man? Yeah, yeah.
the five time. I just hung up the phone with him, and I still find myself, even after working for him now for 12 years, we've been working together. I still find myself going, man, this is Booker T I'm talking to. This is crazy. So for you, is it similar working with Sly where you're on set and you're like, man, this is Sly Stallone. This is crazy.
Yeah, man. I mean, look, but I don't show it though, man. I'm definitely in my mind. I'm sitting in the car with him. Even driving on a real road. Sitting here doing scenes. I'm like, I have a little moment with myself. I just look at him like, oh my gosh, and I'll just keep it cool and I'll be like, yeah, 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 yeah. But it hits me, man, on it's such an ancestral gift, man. I'm so thankful for these opportunities, man. I couldn't have. There's nothing that I've done personally except work hard and align myself to receive such a wonderful gift from that realm. And I'm so thankful, man. So I be kicking it with Sly, man, and I think to myself, man, I'm kicking it with Mary, and I see them boots walk up to me, and I'm like, okay, look at you, what's up, Auntie? I'm with Camilla, and I'm just looking at her like, wow, like I'm really here. So again, man, that was more so about a year ago, 2 years ago, but I will adjust it to my atmosphere and my colleagues at this point.
Now, for you, being from the South and now going to Tulsa King and having that Southern sensibility, I feel like that lends itself to being more authentic with the character because people from the South, like you and I are, we understand. Like when I watch Tulsa King and seeing the juxtaposition of the mobsters versus the guys who are actually from the South, you feel that authenticity coming from you. Do you feel like that really helped you in this role?
That's so cool that's so cool you know that, man. I speak to a lot of people from up north, man, and they like, they don't see that little part, man. But shout out to the H, man, for y'all know what's up, man. It was easier for me to lend myself to that, I guess, that those more country, that country perspective, or that southern perspective. It was easier for me to be like, I know how these people are gonna react down south when I say it like this, or if I say it like that, or if I put that little word in, put that little twang in, they know, I'm speaking. I know those people. Those are my folks. So, of course, man, it lended itself, man. It lended itself so much, and such a juxtaposition between up north and down south. I can't wait till I meet them. I'm about to sink into. I'm bringing my boots and my hat, bringing all of that up there.
So you came up, obviously, your father wanted you to be in athletics. Your mom had a dance background, both discipline, right? And I feel like instilling discipline in you. But you're also an artist yourself outside of the acting realm, being an MC. And to me, there's something really interesting about being an MC and an actor because when you look at guys like Pac or LL or even Will Smith, Queen Latifah, anybody who came from a rapping first background and then applied that skill to acting, it seems to be an easy transition. And here's my theory on it, but I want to hear your perspective. When you're writing a 16, you're supposed to tell a story with a beginning, middle, and end, and have lines also that are going to, give that theater of the mind approach. Whether you go back to the early days with like a Slick Rick the Ruler, the way he would tell a story, or even Pac himself. Do you feel like that is why a rapper and an actor, they seems to be a good transition, or what is your theory on it?
Man, that's such a great theory, man. I think it got a lot to do with just both of these two mediums are trying to convey a specific intention, right? So, I think about Brenda's Got a Baby, Tupac, that song there, the beginning of how that starts to the way it's in and the reveal of, and now the baby's got, all of these things that happen. And that's a monologue, but it's just a specific cadence. And I ain't gonna lie, I'm gonna keep it real with you, man. The playwright that tied it all together for me, Shakespeare. Reading the sonnets, man, figuring out the iambic pentameter, that 10, honoring the 10, 11, and 12, like it's perfect. These are bars. And I'm in the class, fresh out the hood, listening to Shakespeare talk, people talk, my teachers break this down. I'm looking around like this ain't bars to y'all. Like this ain't bars right here. I'm in Shakespeare and I'm writing like I'm literally like seeing how he put these little couplets, these similes, metaphors, how he did these like, oh my goodness, it blew my mind, man. So I applied that to my own music in writing it. While I was at an acting school, I was able to do those monologues, but also come in and out and do my raps at the same time. So I was building both of them at the same time, man. But now there's this thing called punching, man. These rappers punching in now, man. I can't even keep up to the styles no more. I'm used to strategically writing my 16, like you said. Be blessed to have a 32, but I'm getting in the studio and they just like get in the booth. You get in there, you just hear the beat and you just going line by line. So that's improv. That's more so leaning towards improv acting. I'm seeing that they're two different mediums that translate themselves in two different ways, but they're the same intention for it. So for me, I ain't lost in translation with it, man. It makes so much sense with it for me, bro.
Yeah,
But it's a
no,
great,
no, I loved your insight on that, especially the iambic pentameter and how Shakespeare was able to weave those together, and it really is applicable to today. Um, there's things in Tulsa King though have already become like, I guess, a part of internet culture, because there's not a day that I go by on Instagram or TikTok scrolling through the reels or the stories, and I don't see that college uh, uh, speech from Stallone where he's talking about, what a degree is worth, the 4 years. It shows you got up and went on time and things like that.
I'll look with the shit, man.
And yeah, I know you're right there. So have you felt like the impact of the show already from season one going into season two?
Man, I have it, man. I keep my head down and I stay out the way, man. I don't hear much. I mean, I hear it when I get out, but again, I'm in the studio working on my music most of the time. Like I'm pushing, pulling, going back and forth. But those little times when I can find myself in a grocery store and somebody staring at me, I know what that's about. I'm gonna have to go in the other way, or like I'm headed to my braider to get my hair braided so I can not be recognized in New York or something, man. Like but then I got the Rob Peace movie with the braids, so it's a lot to it, man. I haven't seen. I'm not too much worried about impact outside of what I know to be true with the impact of myself. Like I don't look around like saying, okay, wow, they're as long as I've done my thing with integrity, highest spirit, fullest quantity, and highest quality in the moment of creating it, then every other thing lends itself, and I trust that part of the cause and effect of that.
Whether you're an MC or an actor, patience is a big part of the medium, right? Being able to be patient and present. But you're coming out of Juilliard, you start getting these auditions, you're going through 40, maybe you book five or six, all these auditions that you're doing. And then COVID hits. And then after COVID, you got a SAG strike. And they say too much is given, much is tested. So how do you feel like what's the trick to having that patience and staying within and knowing that it's, persistence is going to finally pay off?
Man, you asking all the right questions, man. I dealt with it was the hardest time in my life, not when I before I got the role, but when I got the role, we did season one and and the world stopped. Pandemic happened, and everything changed for me. And I was back on couches all over again, man. It was crazy tough. But yet I still had that integrity. I still had that grit, that ambition that got me there in the first place, which was staying true to myself and staying true to I didn't say, okay, bet, like I'm about to go, I'm suffering right now as an artist. I want to make my music, but I need money, so let me get on Uber Eats. No, I stayed hungry physically and spiritually, and I stayed making my music, and I stayed sending audition tapes in, and I stayed in that frequency. Because in the end of the day, you know my father know what I need. If I need food, watch it magically appear. If I need rest and shelter, that thing will show up for me. As long as I'm in my own alignment of doing what I need to do, those angels show up and those things show up for signs, man. So I'm again, bro. I ain't worried about nothing, and I haven't been.
Well, you're not worried about nothing, but we're excited to see season two, Tulsa King, Sunday, Paramount Plus. Jay Will, man, I really appreciate the time, brother. Thank you so much for doing it, man. I really enjoyed this talk.
You the man, Brad. I appreciate you for the love and the A, man. Shout out to the H out there, man. Y'all keep it going.
Hey, man, no, next time you find yourself down here, give me a shout.
You know what I will, man. Hey, give Booker T a little, give him a little thing for me, man.
I got you. I
Yeah,
appreciate you, Jay.
catch you later, brother.